three people are my friends. Probably just about everybody that works for the township's a friend of mine. Most of the people in here I know, and I've been friends with them most of my life. I don't like what's going on in Pocono Township. I think we're falling backwards. I don't think we're progressing forward. I think the infighting between the three supervisors has to stop. I think some of the things with the township employees that I hear from them that are going on with private meetings with individual supervisors has to stop. I think there's a lot of turmoil. I don't have the answer for it. But I don't think going forward for our township and for the things that you guys swore when you took your oaths of office, you all took an oath of office to work for the township. So we need to figure out how to do that collectively. Maybe someone else has an answer here. All you guys have been coming to meetings for a few months now, and it's great to bring up all this turmoil, but we still need to figure out how to get it together to go forward. And it isn't happening. It seems like almost every week I get a call from one of my friends that they had a private meeting with a supervisor, and the supervisor, you know, it's like the meeting department heads. And you're fractionalizing your own employees. So maybe you guys can figure it out.
Thank you. Okay, roll call.
James Alerso,
Yes.
Harold Wertheiser, Frank Kuss,
Yes.
all present.
Okay, the minutes. We have the minutes of the supervisors 2/23/11 regular meeting and the supervisors 3/1 special meeting. Do I have a motion for those?
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes. I'll second
Roll call, James Alerso,
Yes.
Harold Wertheiser,
it. Yes.
Frank Kuss,
Yes.
motion carried.
Do I have a motion for the semi-monthly bills? Pay the monthly, semi-monthly bills.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Roll call, James Alerso,
Yes.
Harold Wertheiser,
Yes.
Frank Kuss,
Yes.
motion carried.
Communications, they will be read at the time of the item on the agenda. Bids and sewer projects. We don't have any bids tonight. Construction engineering report.
Nothing to report.
Nothing tonight, no. Okay, we're down to the SEO report, and Dennis Kiesler is our
Okay.
SEO.
Since the last supervisors meeting, I've issued one well permit and 2 septic permits for new construction. I have 1 well permit pending, a redesign on the drip system to allow it to meet the 15-foot setback required for the wells without having to go for variance. I've had 1 chisel inspection and 1 sand for the village store, which is putting a greatly improved and much larger septic in, and I guess we'll be opening shortly. Meetings, I had a meeting with a homeowner in a rather affluent subdivision who says, and Steve was at the meeting also, says he cannot afford to live in his house anymore, and he's looking to have other family members move in with him because he can't afford the taxes, the food, energy costs, or anything. He's retired, I guess. They've been there for about 10 years. And I did make a visit to the property and look to see if the septic could be expanded. It appears it can be. It's no guarantee, but it appears it can be expanded to meet the need of a potentially 5 or 6 bedroom home that he may want to turn it into. But not a 2-family structure, but a single family under the ordinance, and that's what Steve's going to make sure of, that it stays a single family home. Finished the required, somewhat required PAVE reimbursement for the year with the help of many people on the staff, and it's on its way to oblivion right now, or at least the DEP. because I don't think the state has the money to pay the reimbursement.
No.
But we'll give it old college try and get it into them and see what we can get back from the state for enforcing the sewage regulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. And that sewage reimbursement is a big project, and I want to thank everybody who helped work on that. That's a huge project, and we haven't received any money back for the last 2 years from DEP, although they're supposed to reimburse us for part of Dennis's work. But so far, they're 2 years behind, and I don't think they're going to be any better this year, to be honest, because they don't have the money. But we try, and we keep trying. Stephen?
Before I start my report, I'd like to add something to Dennis's comment about the people that live in the large house that can no longer, well, they retired. And they never envisioned that when they paid $353,000 for this house, that they wouldn't be able to sell it for half, or they would sell it to get out from under this situation. But it's really perplexing when a person's property depreciates, but the taxes keep going up. That's, to me, makes absolutely, it's incredible. I never thought anything like that would ever really happen.
Maybe the price was inflated when you
Well,
bought it.
I don't know about that. I know the house, it's a very large, very nice home, so it's not like one of the smaller ones that got overinflated.
It is a very
It's
a good subdivision.
The Supreme Court had a case where a zoning officer blocked the CO, and it turned out that the judge ruled as long as there's common access from the first to second floor and vice versa, and no separation of the two units, you could have your uncles and your aunts and a couple of horses move in, and it's still a single family dwelling. So that's what he wants to do. He wants to move downstairs and get like his brother or somebody to live upstairs to defray some of the cost. I think you're going to see a lot of that. People who have no choice, it's either that or lose their home. Well, I'll do the report as quickly as I can.
Thanks.
Permits were pretty slow from this past meeting, February 24th to today. And we only did about 13 various permits and 8 COs. Meetings and hearings, I had one, I was subpoenaed to testify against an individual from Barton's by the Monroe County Municipal Waste Authority. This particular individual is no stranger to none of us, and he always seems to have piles of trash and litter on his property. So I went in front of Judge Olson, and he was given a time frame for a final cleanup. Also, I met with the deputy inspector of Monroe County Waste Authority, and we went through Pocono Township, identifying areas where there doesn't seem to be any garbage collection, mostly residential. People are dropping there or not paying their garbage bills, and the garbage man's coming and just leaving it lay there. This is a problem. I also met with RKR Hess and Boucher and James about the Camelback water slide proposal. And I also met with the Monroe County Transit Authority Director. I'm going to expound on that later, but Laurel Lake Road, I went with Harold on a revised driveway. Classic Quality Homes, we reviewed Lot 20 for Tara Estates, 11 and 12 for Barton Glen. We have a proposed restaurant, which most people seem to know about already, for Route 611. I met with the owner, Mr. Riccobono. Competition Tire, MCTA. Well, I sent MCTA a letter today addressed to Wayne Mazer, the assistant chair, or the vice chair. It seems like they entered into an agreement with Competition Tire and Auto to allow them to use their property to store discarded tires and wrecked vehicles. Now, in my letter I said any vehicles that he buys that have to be gone before 30 days, it says in the ordinance, in the junk vehicle ordinance, you can't keep a wrecked vehicle for 30 days. But I don't think it was proper of them to to just give him a lease for this use without I'm gonna have to see where this
Yes.
goes.
See where it goes. That's,
The owner of Competition Tire buys junk vehicles and resells them. That's exactly why they're appearing on the property. But what irritates me is I spend so much time trying to get Louis Domiano, the former owner of Swiftwater Plaza, to clean up his lot, which we find, and now we got somebody else that's gonna bring in junkers. I'm not too happy about that. Woodland Drive, we have a warehouse that, I went out, it's going to be sold. In fact, it may already be sold, and we went out to, I went out to identify the non-conforming aspects prior to the sale of the property. ADCI is a design architect who I'm in contact with. They're proposing some major interior renovations to Great Wolf. And I work with one of their architects. I worked with them before. They seem to be very thorough, and plans are being drawn and submitted to the building department. Violation and inspections is lastly Barton Glen, Pocono Haven, Ski Haven, Hallmark Acres, Fish Hill Road, Brookdale Drive. Well, that's one we got cleaned up, thank God. Pocono Highland, that one has, their time's running out. They got junk vehicles on the property. The homeowners association wants them removed, but so far we haven't had any compliance. I've given them 30 days. They still got a couple of days on the clock. And one of the residents of Pocono Township wants me to take a look at Mob Manor. He says that there are several unlicensed vehicles, and he's going to give me a request for action and give me the exact lot so I can go identify them. And that's the end of my report for tonight.
okay. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Good reports, both of you. Thank you very much. Plan, and we have a comment letter from our engineer on this. So, John, do you have any comments to make on this?
Well, I guess I can summarize, hopefully that'll clarify it for you. If not, we can go into more detail. But when you applied for the solar array, it was determined that you never had completed a final land development plan for the original project, which is constructed and occupied, as we all know. So that is a requirement. So what you have at this point in time is you have a need to fulfill the requirement of filing a final plan, and you also had a solar array plan before us for recommendation for approval. I then received from your engineer a set of final land development plans which incorporated both the solar array and I believe intended to satisfy the requirements for the submission of a land development plan, as you were told that you should do. In reviewing that, it appears that what your engineer did was simply, for the most part, take the original preliminary plans, label them final plans, and she did change a few things on there, but there is a lot of design information that has been carried over from the preliminary plans that I'm certain is not exactly the same as what was built out there. Now, I'm not suggesting what was built is wrong, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to record preliminary plan information when in fact we know the as-built conditions are different. So my recommendation to the board was, and because there's